Welcome, Hans Hassler. I'm happy to sit here with Hans Hassler, CEO of Plantagon. Last year, you were named European CEO of the Year, Sweden, by the UK business magazine European CEO. And later the same year, your company Plantagon was listed as one of the most innovative companies in the world by the Red Herring Top 100 Global. And then you had already won the Silver Stevie Award for being the most creative company of the year in Europe. And now the World Finance 100. Why do you think you are getting so much attention right now?
I think there are two different reasons. One is, of course, what we're doing, the technology that we are developing for how to grow lots of food inside cities. The other reason is that we are one of the leading organizations, I would say, when it comes to social entrepreneurship. We went further than anyone else when it comes to constitutionalizing sound values, sharing and responsibility into our organizational model, and I think that's very timely right now.
What has all this positive attention meant to the company?
It means very much. It means that people respect what we're doing. They listen to what we're saying when it comes to values. I also think that many people that a little bit hesitate when organizations like ours talk about responsibilities and commercial stuff at the same time. They have to realize now that these questions are no longer only visionary. They're quite practical ways of running a business in a more modern way.
Something the juries like the Red Herring Top 100 and the World Finance 100 have put strong focus on is your innovative organizational model, the compensation. What is it with this model, do you think, that they like compared to other models designed to increase and promote responsible business?
I think the reason is that it's very concrete and very consequent. It's also quite political in a way, not on a left-right-wing sense, but we really prove that we mean serious business when we say that we want to be more responsible and more open to the society than we find most other companies to be. Most entrepreneurs that starts a company, they know that they very seldom sit down and calculate on how rich they are going to be. Of course some do, but most people, they have this idea and they want to achieve something good. When a company grows, if it's really successful, goes on the stock market and so on, at the end, many entrepreneurs and owners and founders, they found themselves not knowing their own company anymore because the drive that was there from the beginning, that was very good, is not there anymore because everything goes from this drive to the money drive, and from a more long-term perspective that you really want to work for the future into an extremely short-term perspective. Everyone understands that that's a problem. No one thinks that this is good. Very few people say that greed is good, maybe in a movie sometimes, but it's just ridiculous. Of course greed is not good because greed destroys companies. So this model that we have developed it's of course idealistic in one sense, but it's also practical because we try to protect companies from becoming greedy because then they get destroyed. So when we say long-term perspective, of course it's from a political and idealistic side, but it's also from a purely business side. And these two things we compiled together in another way than no one else did so far. So I think that we get this attention because people are waiting for organizations like this. And of course it's also exciting to get awards like the World Finance 100 Award and the Red Herring Award, because those two awards are strictly to the financial sector of the business. It's kind of hardcore business people that watches us, what we're doing now. And to be able to bring these issues into the financial world, that was, to me personally, that was the aim of everything that I was doing for so many years. So I hope that everyone that hears what we're saying now understands the possibility that everyone has to be part of this and to really make a change. I hope other people outside Plantagon understands that if they help Plantagon And if they join what we're doing, they can really make a change, really.
You have been developing this compensation model for over many years. What was your main driving force?
The main driving force came from the other perspective than business. We were working for NGOs and different kind of more idealistic and sometimes also political organizations. These organizations, they often strive very, very hard to get their money, to do good things. And during the 80s, I started to think about why couldn't these organizations earn their own money? Why couldn't Greenpeace, for example, run a company that brings money into Greenpeace and helps Greenpeace do what they are supposed to do? During the 80s, this was really difficult to talk about because it wasn't allowed to have this kind of hybrids between commercial and non-commercial ways of working and also thinking. But that's exactly what we are doing now. So the driving force was to earn money to do good things, not ask for money to do good things. So we try to use both the commercial skills that we have, or economic skills, and also political and opinion building skills at the same time in one organization. To me, that's a much more modern way of running both things, both the company and the non-profit side.
Would your new model be suited for, best suited for innovative, fast-moving organizations and companies like Plantagon, or that could easily attract and engage committed fans? Or could it work for any type or size of old business company wanting a remake or wanting to change the way of doing business?
No, but it could work, I think, for even old companies, but it could only work for a business that people cares about. If you want to use the compensation model for something that no one really cares about, let's say a different kind of soap, there are 1 million soaps in the world, and then you have another one, then you have to make this soap very, very special. Maybe it would be produced by women in Sudan or something like this to help the local community. Then you might find people interested in what you're doing and wanting to help and share. But if it's just another soap from a huge company, then no one will care. But as soon as you're running a commercial business to change something or to contribute to something that's more important, then you could use the model. But of course, then you have to be ready to share your company as well.
As of now, your innovation, the Plantagon greenhouse, is yet to be constructed, and the compensation, the organizational model is yet to be finalized. Do you see any risks or disadvantages with all this attention, so to say, before delivery?
Oh, yes, of course. It's always a risk to get attention before you are really, really ready. In one sense, we were ready from the beginning because the compensation model was implied into this company when we started the company. But it won't be ready to me until we are much, much more members than we are today. If we won't be able to raise the amount of members that we hoped to do from the beginning, then we will have to accept that it's not such a big thing that we're doing. People are not that interested in what we're doing. But it won't change that the non-profit side will still own 10% and have the power over the company. Even if the non-profit side would become smaller, we will open up this company for other people to influence and share what we're doing. So on that part, I'm not so scared for all the attention because we will still do it. When it comes to the greenhouse side, to me, I know already that it works. But of course, things can happen. You can have child diseases with every industrial process that was developed over the whole history of business. There was always problems in the beginning, and we will have the same thing. That's a reason why we go pretty slow. We try to build demonstration plants. We want to prove the technology before we really commercialize it. Because when we commercialize, we will have license agreements with other companies using the technology. And I would say that's about 3-4 years from today. So we have to prove that we know what we're doing. And of course, that puts much more pressure on us, having all these nice awards.
So, what's your vision for your company Plantagon in 5 years?
Well, that's a difficult question because I don't really have a vision that would be clear like most CEOs would have a certain amount of greenhouses up and running. It's really difficult to explain how we work when it comes to our business development because we have two totally different goals. We want to have impact on the food security issue. We could have impact without growing one single tomato, to be honest. We already do have impact on the food security issue by doing what we're doing today. So let's say that we would have 100 commercial greenhouses up in 5 years, but not having any impact on the food security issue, then I would be really, really unsatisfied. If we would have 2 greenhouses up, I think that we would have at least 10, but still impact the food security issue, then I would be much, much more happy than if we would have 100. Because our owners, when we founded the company, that was our mission, to contribute to solve a really, really important problem, not making the most money that we can make. So it's difficult for an organization like this to really answer this question in a normal way. But I hope that in 5 years, then Plantagon is more a non-profit organization, owning a successful company, contributing to solving a really, really, really important societal challenge that we have. And no one will be able to tell us that we don't know how to run a business, only because we are idealistic, because we will have a successful company. But to me personally, I see more in my vision that we have impact on the society than earning as much money as possible. Enough is enough, and the impact is more important to me personally.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thanks.